An EF1 tornado tore through Jilin Province in Hubei County, with wind speeds reaching a maximum of 86 to 100 miles per hour. The storm expanded to a width of over half a mile and lasted approximately 20 minutes, which proved to be sufficient to inflict significant damage. Fortunately, a few fortunate motorists managed to capture the entire event on video. The tornado appeared more apocalyptic than a typical tornado, displaying an unconventional storm pattern, but the swirling rotations from the left to right were still discernible. In the aftermath footage, a crowd of people can be seen gathered around a bus that has been overturned, yet it was not the only vehicle affected by the tornado. Although not evident in the video, the tornado passed directly over the Yangtze River, resulting in the capsizing of a cruise ship carrying 400 passengers. Many of the travelers were elderly individuals on a leisurely journey between Nanjing and Chongqing. In January 2023, an incident took place in Pompton Lakes, New Hampshire, where a police officer's body camera recorded a house fire. Firefighters were engaged in extinguishing the blaze while the police maintained a safe perimeter to prevent onlookers from entering the area. Tragically, the house suddenly erupted with an explosion, with 6 firefighters still inside. The firefighters endured injuries as a result of this harrowing experience, but thankfully, none of them lost their lives. On April 22, 2019, a seismic jolt of 6.1 magnitude struck Clark International, unsettling everyone within its vicinity. Travelers instinctively sought refuge, clutching their loved ones as they scattered to find cover. Unfortunately, some individuals became trapped as debris began cascading from the ceilings. Inside a bustling terminal filled with eager travelers, pandemonium erupted as the earthquake shook everything, including the surveillance cameras. One man found himself ensnared on a banister shortly after passing through security, nearly pulling the entire line down with him. In another corner, a security team dashed for cover, reacting to the sudden chaos. Debris and light fixtures rained from the ceiling, narrowly missing 2 women. Within the check-in area, people sought protection by covering their heads, anxiously hoping for the best. Towards the end of the line, a few men narrowly escaped outside just before the roof caved in above them. The aftermath of the check-in and departure areas left no doubt that the formidable earthquake had wreaked havoc upon Clark International Airport. There's a compelling rationale behind the prohibition of smoking at gas stations, and unfortunately, one customer had to learn this lesson the hard way. As evident in the surveillance footage, the incident took place in Turkey. The man had just finished refueling his car with gasoline. Rather than driving away, he made the ill-advised decision to light a cigarette. The consequences were swift, as flames swiftly consumed his vehicle. Fortunately, the man was able to open the car door and escape, with horrifying waves of flames emanating from the vehicle. Promptly, the gas station attendants rushed to his aid, armed with fire extinguishers, in an attempt to stop a catastrophic explosion. Their quick response successfully extinguished the flames before they could spread further. The man, albeit with burns on his face and hands, was taken to the hospital but was otherwise in stable condition. If this incident serves as a motivation for him and others to quit smoking, it's a poignant reminder of the dangers involved. In southern Africa, a group of men embarked on a serene canoeing adventure that took a distressing turn. What initially appeared to be a routine encounter with a crocodile escalated into a life-threatening ordeal. As they paddled along the narrow river, the man capturing the incident on video experienced a sudden surge of fear when he noticed a massive crocodile head emerge from the water in the distance.
What a big, huge.
With a trembling hand, he zoomed in to capture the colossal size of the reptile just before it abruptly vanished back into the murky waters.
It's coming around, it's coming around. It's coming this way.
Regrettably, the camera ceased recording at this point, leaving the subsequent events shrouded in mystery. A shirtless individual led the LAPD on a pursuit that would likely amuse Arnold Palmer. It featured a golf cart zipping through the streets of California's San Fernando Valley, closely tailed by police. According to authorities, the man behind the wheel was a suspect in cases involving an assault with a deadly weapon and grand theft. This somewhat comical, low-speed chase persisted for nearly 10 miles. Notably, the golf cart did not carry golf clubs, but it did have an unexpected passenger, a dog seated on the suspect's lap, adding an extra layer of peculiarity to the situation. Even driving against traffic and running red lights did not prevent authorities from ultimately catching up with the golf cart. Their moment to intervene came when the suspect entered the premises of a 7-Eleven and a sushi restaurant, leaving the golf cart behind as he fled on foot while clutching the dog. Approximately 15 officers converged to apprehend the suspect, yet it only took 2 of them to secure the dog. The dog was subsequently returned to the suspect's family. But honest question, who tries to escape the police in a golf cart? Come on, people. The video captures 2 dirt bikers navigating a secluded forest trail. Throughout the footage, the bikers are observed riding at incredible speeds, a choice that would soon prove to be potentially life-threatening. As they pressed on along the path, they encountered an unexpected hazard, a steel cable suspended between 2 trees precisely neck level for the approaching bikers. At a sufficient velocity, this snare would unquestionably pose a fatal risk to anyone who failed to notice it. Fortunately, the leading biker did stop in time and reacted swiftly to avoid the peril. The bikers deliberated whether to remain at the scene, possibly to confront the person responsible for setting up the trap. However, in the end, they chose to continue on their way. The identity of the individual behind this dangerous setup remains unknown. As a man waited at the Starbucks drive-thru to collect his morning coffee, he became an unwitting witness to a significant explosion. His dashboard camera recorded the entire incident. In the footage, a building located across the street experienced a dramatic roof detonation. Debris was propelled into the sky and scattered onto the streets. Notably, police later discovered debris that had traveled more than 100 yards away from the explosion.
Thing I thought was, wow, it's a crazy explosion, but then also how many people are in there, because that is a life-ending explosion.
At the time of the explosion, 4 individuals were inside the building. Miraculously, they all survived the blast, despite sustaining severe injuries. The root cause of the explosion remains shrouded in uncertainty. The video was captured on a dimly lit road at night, and it's inferred that the individuals behind the camera commenced recording when they spotted an approaching clown. As the clown neared their vehicle, they cautiously moved forward and began shouting at the clown. The clown then ventured off the road, retrieving an undisclosed item hidden in the adjacent field. The person operating the camera continued to film as the clown reappeared on the road, now brandishing a chainsaw. Panic set in as they frantically attempted to drive away.
putain, il est malade, quoi. Vas-y, recule, gros. Recule, laisse, barre-toi, gros. Barre-toi, il arrive. Oh, putain. C'est quoi ça? Wow.
This video potentially depicts a spirit rising upwards following a patient's passing, making it a remarkable and intriguing occurrence. The individual lies on a stretcher in a dimly lit corridor, covered with a sheet, with their motionless feet protruding from the lower end. The scene is tranquil and serene, until unexpectedly, a faint spirit seems to emerge from the body. This apparition appears to be cloaked, its face shrouded from view. Does this signify our appearance when we transition to the next realm? Do we relinquish our identity, including our facial features? After the apparition sits upright, it slowly ascends, clad in what seems to be white robes, while the body remains behind. The spirit drifts away, perhaps to an encounter with the unknown, its robes trailing gently in the wake. Opinions across the internet have been divided regarding the veracity of this assertion. Some suggest that such an effect could be created through special effects and editing, while others firmly believe that the video provides evidence of a departing spirit from a physical body. Continuous passenger requests, complaints about delays, a lack of attentive staff, and various other annoyances. Working in the service industry can be challenging, and when it comes to service jobs at high-altitude flights, the challenges can be even more daunting. However, there is no justification for the alarming outburst of an American Airlines flight attendant, which led 3 passengers to dial 911 seeking assistance. The said flight attendant reportedly experienced a mental breakdown and was captured on video making threats over the intercom system.
This has not happened to me since 9/11, and I'm not putting up with this! Somebody call 911. Security system, I'm about to kill passengers before takeoff! Stop. I have been finally trained by the FAA.
One of the passengers who contacted 911 reported that they had heard discussions over the radio about intentionally crashing the plane. In an attempt to clarify, one dispatcher asked, "Are you currently on board the flight?" And the flight attendants are announcing over the PA system that they intend to crash the plane? Fortunately, American Airlines Flight 2332 was still on the ground in Dallas and had not yet taken off. Some concerned passengers took it upon themselves to restrain the flight attendant after the 911 dispatchers discerned what was happening. Amidst the chaotic phone calls from passengers, the flight returned to the gate and the problematic flight attendant was subsequently removed from the aircraft. What's unfolding within this eerie hotel? YouTuber Lewis Clark has shared a video that compelled the team to contact the police. Let's delve into the situation.
Basically, smelled something a bit funny as I came in the room.
Yeah.
Check this out.
In a hotel room, there is a seemingly lifeless body discovered in the shower. Their primary suspect at this point is the hotel cleaner.
We don't want her just walking in. That's the problem. We can't have her just walking in because she'll probably try and kill you. That's the problem. The reason she'll probably try and kill you is because...
However, when they confront the cleaner, she manages to elude them.
Bro, she's running down. She's literally running down right now. She's running down. Just get her. We need to her. I'm going to go after her. Okay?
Will she evade consequences completely? It appears likely, as she somehow vanishes without a trace.
Where's the stairs?
Is Clark trapped in this situation? It certainly appears so, and judging by her modus operandi, there's a possibility that these individuals might become her next targets. While this video may have elements of a staged production, it still sends shivers down my spine. The following video was captured by a security guard who was monitoring the factory's surveillance cameras. Something extraordinarily unusual caught his attention. Although there was a welder working alone, there was something unsettling about the situation. The security guard scrutinized the footage more closely and felt a growing sense of unease as he watched the unfolding events. He promptly summoned the welder to view the video and provide an explanation for the bizarre occurrence. Yet, much like the security guard, the welder found himself utterly perplexed. This unsettling incident transpired during the night shift, intensifying its eeriness. Aside from the welder, no one else was present in the factory. However, the welder mentioned that another welder who had the day off had dropped by for a visit. They engaged in a brief conversation before the security guard beckoned the welder over to watch the footage. But upon viewing the video, the welder was left at a loss for words. Here's what the video revealed. It turns out that the other welder who had come to say hello was not actually physically present. The welder on the camera claimed to have seen the other worker in full work attire, as if he were ready for a shift. They even shook hands, as per his account. Nevertheless, when they reviewed the footage, there was no trace of the other person. This perplexing story takes an even more unusual twist when they learn the fate of the worker who was believed to have taken the day off. Apparently, news reached the factory that this worker had passed away in his own home. The cause of death remains a mystery. The fact that he died on the very day of this inexplicable incident has left the welder feeling deeply unsettled. Could it be possible that the spirit of the deceased worker visited his friend during the shift? Or is there another explanation for this entire occurrence? Like many such videos, the question remains without a definitive answer. A YouTuber who goes by the name Black Dark Claws alleged that they acquired this weathered antique doll at a garage sale. Upon introducing it to their home, both the YouTuber and their spouse began to experience unusual sensations solely from its presence. What follows is the account of a particular day when they decided to record it. While there is a possibility that this video involves stop-motion photography, the fluidity of the movements appeared to surpass the typical results of such special effects. It's also conceivable that a thin piece of string was employed, even though that method doesn't usually yield such seamless results. If this footage is fabricated, it's undeniably quite convincing. At approximately 4:42 a.m., an agitated-looking individual entered the laundromat and headed directly to the counter with the intention of committing theft. However, during the course of the incident, a staff member of the store chanced upon the thief and attempted to intervene. In the midst of their struggle, the perpetrator seized a hammer and forcefully struck the store employee on the head. This act of violence enabled the thief to flee the laundromat without being apprehended. This doesn't rule out the possibility of another issue if this isn't related to worms. Late at night in this subway, a concerned passerby captured a moment when a rat hurried across the floor. While that alone was repulsive, the situation deteriorates as the individual continues to record. It remains uncertain whether these two rats are the only ones present or if there might be additional rodents inside the establishment. It's apparent that this place is unclean or may have some openings through which the rats are gaining access. In any case, it's safe to say that you might want to think twice about purchasing a sandwich, whether it's a 6-inch or a foot long, from this downtown Boston subway. The low prices of the sandwiches hardly seem worth the true cost, now does it? A group of tourists finding themselves pursued by a bear family is quite a sight. It's evident that these individuals are in a state of panic, with the mother bear persistently chasing them, presumably to ensure the safety of her cubs. Even the bear cubs join in, playfully pursuing the people as they desperately attempt to escape. This could have been seen as endearing if we weren't aware of the destructive potential of these furry creatures. It appears, though, that these bears are more curious than angry or hostile, and they eventually depart after a prolonged session of play. Just another typical day in Yellowstone National Park, it seems. The horror genre is flooded with movies that heavily rely on shadows to maintain an aura of dread. This reliance is evident because once the audience catches a glimpse of the monster, the tension dissipates, often resulting in a CGI spectacle or something bordering on comical. The video posted by the user Shortest Blockbusters falls in line with films like Midsummer that subvert this trope by presenting the horrors openly and plainly. Granted, the monsters may appear somewhat absurd and artificial. We're well aware that it's a digitally created entity. However, this does not diminish the pseudo jump scare's terrifying impact as it rushes towards the camera. For a brief moment, in a first-person perspective, we become the person behind the camera, and suddenly, the monster is charging straight at us. Dan Cedron has maintained an active YouTube channel for several years. On this channel, his primary content centers around reviewing various tech equipment and documenting adventures he shares with his friends. Periodically, he ventures into the realm of extreme caving. In this particular video, a warning is issued for those with claustrophobia, as he embarks on a solitary expedition to the Warsaw Caves in Ontario, Canada. This cave consists of lengthy, narrow passageways and sections suitable for intrepid splunkers.
Actually, if there was a day to do something in the rain, this is it. That's bone. That's a fossil.
The footage reveals the remarkably tight spaces he navigates, and undertaking such an excursion alone is likely not advisable. Is this a manifestation of pure malevolence? YouTuber Bejan shares a chilling paranormal incident that unfolded within their modest Caribbean home. Focus your attention on the mattress. It appears as though an unseen force depresses it and sets it trembling. But that's not all. A deodorant stick inexplicably shifts across the table, and to add to the eerie spectacle, a fan initiates its rotation without any apparent reason. It's worth noting that the fan is unplugged and the fan switch mysteriously flips on by itself. Some individuals in the comment section express skepticism about the occurrence, pointing out that the mattress is positioned too far from the camera frame to determine if a real person might be on it. Nevertheless, the enigma of the fan's behavior remains unexplained. All in all, this appears to be a potentially genuine paranormal activity, in my view. A YouTuber by the name of Seafields33 recorded a severe storm in Gray, Tennessee, when the wind's intensity significantly increased.
Whoa.
In less than half a minute, the wind became deafening and a calamitous sight unfolded before him. A tornado touched down in his front yard. And swiftly moved between his residence and his neighbor's house. The likelihood of the tornado threading through the houses instead of directly striking them is excessively low. According to the account, the tornado uprooted 3 trees and overturned an RV. Both Seafields33 and his neighbor can consider themselves exceptionally fortunate. Clearly, the tornado possessed enough force to potentially carry the YouTuber away, underscoring the importance of his timely retreat into his house. The Cuban government released footage captured outside its embassy in Washington, D.C., which they claim shows an individual igniting and hurling 2 Molotov cocktails over the fence. Cuba's foreign minister reported that there was no damage to the building and no injuries were sustained. On X, formerly known as Twitter, he referred to the perpetrator as a terrorist. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan also denounced the attack, deeming it unacceptable and offering ongoing security measures. The Cuban embassy remained closed for over half a century, but was reestablished as an embassy in 2015 after President Obama renewed diplomatic relations with the island nation. In a separate incident in 2020, the embassy faced another attack when a Cuban man seeking asylum discharged an AK-47, firing around 36 rounds that caused damage to the building's exterior. Fortunately, there were no injuries in that incident. The Secret Service is currently conducting an investigation into this most recent occurrence. In this fishing video, a man submerges his head in the water, attempting to catch a fish from a muddy bed using only his hands. However, an unexpected incident occurs. There's an ongoing online debate regarding the authenticity of this video, with some speculating that the man deliberately placed the live snake on his nose himself. My take on it is, if he allowed an actual water snake to clamp onto his nose while his companion pulled and tugged at it, then he deserves credit. That, in my opinion, is genuine enough. Furthermore, towards the video's conclusion, we can clearly observe the snake swimming away, leaving no doubt that it was indeed a real snake. A YouTuber by the name of Dehi found himself dealing with an unusual new neighbor who exhibited bizarre behavior since recently moving in. Despite the presence of a private, gated entrance, this neighbor surreptitiously scales his wall and initiates awkward conversations, as though this behavior was perfectly normal.
Are you actually for real?
I mean, this is the stuff.
In one instance, she mentions a desire to see his dog, but Dehi promptly intervenes to clarify things. Towards the end of their interaction, she utters something that's rather unclear and reaches out to him. I'm unsure about what she's trying to convey during this moment.
Cool, yeah, cool. Go back the way you came.
Touching?
No. Go back the way you came.
The entire encounter leaves us wondering whether this neighbor's behavior is a result of social awkwardness or hints at potential mental instability. In any case, Dehi firmly directs her to climb back over the wall, which many might agree as an appropriate response to the situation. I personally would have let her leave through the front door, but that's just me. Let me know what you think about this neighbor in the comments. A resident residing in an apartment dialed 911 to report an incident involving a male who was forcefully knocking on a neighboring apartment door. The caller described the male as shouting for someone to open the door while using profane language. Additionally, the caller mentions that the male's actions included banging on the walls and stomping around.
The address of your emergency?
It's an apartment complex, and I don't know what's going on, but he's banging all over, talking about can open the door. It's just really, it's disturbing loud, and it does not sound like something.
Okay, does he sound like he's inside, or maybe he's outside of the front door?
No, he sounds like he's inside because I can hear him.
Okay, and what was it that he's saying?
Open the door. He's just cussing up a storm, but he's loud and he's banging on all the walls.
Okay.
Upon receiving this report, police promptly proceeded to the location and approached the specific apartment from which the disturbance was originating. They then proceeded to knock on the apartment's door. After a brief pause, the person responsible for the disturbance, identified as 19-year-old Robert Aries, opened the door. As he did so, it became apparent to one of the officers that Aries was holding a handgun in his right hand.
Hey dude, put that back.
Aries was making direct eye contact with the officer. Rather than immediately dropping the handgun, Aries concealed it behind his right leg.
Hey dude, put that back, dude. Hey bro, I'm doing. Hey dude, come out. Shots fired off yourself. Shots fired after yourself.
What you got, Bobby?
I got 2 hands up. Hey, come out with your hands up, man.
All right, bro. Let's see your head.
Come out. Come out with your hands up.
I got 2 hands.
Hey, dude, turn around. Turn around. Come down to your
Go
knees.
down on your knees. Down on your knees. Down. Put your hands on your head. Hands on your head. Lay down flat. Flat on the ground. Flat on the ground. You got it?
Yeah.
I'm going to listen.
All right. Are you hit?
No. I'm scared, bro.
Put your other hand behind your back.
Is there anybody else in the house?
No.
Y'all went to team.
Fortunately, Aries was not harmed by gunfire and sustained no injuries. Subsequently, he was taken into custody and charged with 2 felony violations resulting in the possession of a handgun. He was then booked into the Coyce Bird Detention Center. Can you imagine a person showing a cop a gun and then trying to just cutely hide it behind his leg in today's world? That's crazy.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, dude, put that back.
Is that a gun, Bobby?
An object descended from the sky, leaving our driver in a state of disbelief as he exited the car. He might have been pondering why the heavens appeared to resemble downtown Zhuhai. Another individual hurried over to check the driver's well-being. As per reports, the driver had only sustained a broken ankle. From a different perspective, it is evident that the crane fell from a nearby construction site, extending all the way across the road and posing a potential danger to pedestrians on the sidewalk. Presently, the cause of the crane's fall and the party responsible remain uncertain. What we can affirm is the driver's good fortune in escaping with his life. In the video, a group of soldiers were attempting to find cover from a sniper. One soldier, who appears to be somewhat heavier, moves in and out of cover. Another soldier playfully taunts him as if reacting to an explosion or gunshot. However, when the teasing soldier exclaims, "Boom!" the heavy soldiers actually grazed on the arm by sniper fire.
Alright, well this one's mine then.
Hey, give me that gun back. This magazine. It wouldn't feed the boom. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Oh my God. It's hard to...
Witness the dramatic moment when a seemingly innocent push takes an almost tragic turn. 2 friends were strolling along the street when one playfully shoves the other, causing her to tumble and land dangerously close to the path of an oncoming bus. It's truly a miraculous stroke of luck that she narrowly avoided being struck. Subsequently, the 2 friends share an emotional hug. Fortunately, the young woman emerges from the incident with only minor bruises. However, police are considering pressing charges against her friend for reckless endangerment. The video begins with a man securing a GoPro camera to himself and then cautiously approaching the precipice of a steep cliff, evidently preparing to jump. Upon resurfacing in the water, the man's friend abruptly draws his attention to a lurking presence in the water. Startled, the man rapidly reverses course, propelling himself away from the potential threat with all his might. With just a hair's breadth between him and the creature, the man fortunately succeeds in swimming back to the shore and making a safe exit from the water. As American Airlines Flight 280 departed from Seoul, South Korea en route to Dallas, none of the 240 passengers on board could have anticipated that they were about to experience the most terrifying journey of their lives. However, that is precisely what transpired. The aircraft encountered extreme turbulence, an unsettling event that was captured on camera by passengers. The turbulence was so intense that the flight had to be redirected to Tokyo, as 15 individuals among the passengers sustained injuries, with 5 of them requiring hospitalization. Mark Stanley, an attorney for Dallas and one of the passengers, shared with the Morning News that the diversion occurred after enduring over 45 minutes of harrowing turbulence. The remaining passengers were accommodated in Tokyo for the night, though it remains uncertain if they would muster the courage to board another flight the following day. In a world where see something, say something principle is ingrained, an individual adhered to this mantra when he believed he had spotted a raging fire within an apartment. However, as Les Trent's report uncovers, the situation took an unforeseen twist.
I used my smartphone to zoom in, and it was unmistakably a fire, and I was like, this is an emergency. I called 911, and within minutes, the streets were echoing with fire engines.
When the fire brigade arrived with all 5 of their fire trucks, what initially appeared as a dire emergency had a completely different story behind it. Firefighters had been dispatched to address what was reported as a severe fire in a high-rise in Manhattan. Meanwhile, a curious New Yorker watched the scene unfold from an apartment across the street, his disbelief growing with each passing moment. From his vantage point, it genuinely seemed as if an uncontrollable fire were consuming the building, causing understandable concern. However, here's where it gets intriguing. Those fiery apparitions were not real flames, but rather emanated from a Yule log video. Typically reserved for the Christmas season, this cozy video clip was playing on a large screen TV, creating the illusion of an actual fire for onlookers outside. For photographer Kyrene Murray, who observed this spectacle from his apartment window, the sighting appeared entirely authentic. Yet, upon closer examination, it was revealed that it was Ali Lyon's apartment that was responsible for this unusual optical illusion.
It was a rainy Saturday and I had to work a little bit, so I got my laptop, I made some tea, I put on some candles and the fireplace.
Howdy, neighbor.
Welcome.
Inside Edition brought these neighboring souls together.
This is where the fire happens. I was having a cup of tea
Oh,
at my
nice.
window.
I was having a cup of tea here.
Yeah.
And Ali disclosed her choice of the fire on her TV app. Now, instead of witnessing genuine flames through the window, Ali and Kyrene can exchange friendly waves, with each acknowledging the other from their respective apartment windows. What could be more chilling than the apparition of a child's spirit? An encounter with a child ghost within the confines of a hospital is a spine-tingling experience. Allegedly, the staff at Cordoba Children's Hospital in Argentina had not 1, but 10 sightings of this child's ghost within just a few hours. These occurrences left them feeling uneasy in their medical attire. Instead of allowing the ghost to peacefully depart, some hospital staff decided to engage the spectral presence. As the story goes, they placed balloons in the spot where the apparition was frequently spotted, only to witness those balloons inexplicably popping on their own. Furthermore, one determined nurse sought to capture the young ghost on camera and claimed to have succeeded in recording the spirit playing hide and seek. In the video, the apparition is seen crouching behind a bed that had been left in the hallway overnight, concealed beneath a sheet. The nurse caught the ghost on camera as it peered out from behind the sheet. While skeptics may doubt the account, other visitors and employees of the hospital insist that they too have witnessed this child ghost, and opinions on the video vary. Some maintain there is indeed a disconcerting shadow to the right of the cot. The ghost has earned the nickname the Ghost of 500, with local legends suggesting that it is the soul of a patient who passed away in room 500. Notably, the corridor where the ghost was captured on camera is no longer in use, as it connects to the children's ward. Prior to the comments of this video, a man can be seen engaged in a nighttime fishing. As the video begins, he initiates recording in response to a noise he hears drawing near. He nervously illuminates a figure with his flashlight and begins to breathe heavily.
Oh my god, I just want to fish, dude.
Subsequently, as he attempts to depart, the clown persists in trailing the man, and he maintains the recording while the clown steadily approaches his vehicle. In an unconventional twist, this video thrusts us right into the midst of the action. Unlike the typical scenario of a bear facing off against a human, this time it's a bear against another bear. However, the plot takes a harrowing twist when one of the bears attempt to flee, bringing the confrontation dangerously close to the individual observing the scene. As these two bears lock eyes in a tense standoff, they surprisingly come to the mutual agreement that the fight is concluded. At this point, one might assume that the danger has passed, but an alarming twist unfolds when the combatant bear decides to scale a ladder towards the person capturing the footage. This unexpected turn in events certainly catches viewers off guard, leaving them to ponder whether the bear may have realized it wasn't the scent of food that had drawn it closer. In this video, two individuals were handcuffed, taken into custody, and removed from a Starbucks location. The video is deeply unsettling because the two gentlemen, who were interviewed following the incident, had convened at Starbucks for a business meeting over a cup of coffee. When police arrived, the two men were taken aback to discover that they were being arrested. Their only actions had been ordering coffee and sitting down inside the Starbucks. The involvement of police was prompted by a customer who felt uneasy about one of the men, who happened to be of African descent, being present in a Starbucks, and subsequently reported the situation to the police. It is disheartening that these individuals were still subject to arrest despite the apparent absence of any justifiable reason for their apprehension, a fact evident to anyone else present. During their wild camping adventure in Scotland, these individuals were engaged in the Great Glen Canoe Challenge. While reviewing their drone footage, they stumbled upon something that bore a striking resemblance to a creature well known in the Scottish Highlands, the Loch Ness Monster. It appears as though the legendary entity was lurking just beneath the water's surface. The remainder of the video presents an ordinary scene. These men are not enthusiasts of cryptid hunting or urban exploration, venturing into eerie locales. They are simply nature enthusiasts who unexpectedly captured something spine-tingling in the apparently serene waters, a stark departure from what they might have anticipated during their outdoor excursion. Navigating your daily routine was never as stress-inducing as this one. In broad daylight, a robbery unfolds with swift intensity, starting and concluding in the blink of an eye. A hooded individual vaults over the counter, swiftly depletes the cash register, and brandishes a firearm at the staff before making his way over to the counter, relieving the workers of their personal belongings and compelling them to make away. Once the register is open, he efficiently transfers its contents into a plastic bag. With the same rapidity with which he entered, he departs by leaping back over the counter and exiting the premises, his visage mostly concealed. This makes it highly improbable for anyone to have had ample time to identify him, even if they were able to do so. Perhaps this individual ranks among the most methodical thieves in the annals of criminal activity. If you were to draw a comparison, his appearance was reminiscent of Freddy Krueger. He arrived thoroughly equipped with an array of specialized tools than the kind of patience often lacking in amateur criminals. He laid a towel on the floor to capture the debris as he skillfully drilled into the change machine. With a composed demeanor, he removed the cash and meticulously restored everything to its original state. The execution of this act was impeccable, leaving him poised for a seamless escape, with no discernible signs of foul play. However, there was one factor he hadn't taken into account: the watchful eye of surveillance cameras. Furthermore, it's worth noting that his thievery extended beyond a single establishment. Here's another store where he was captured in 4K resolution, executing the exact same routine. Fortunately, his endeavor in the second store was foiled when a customer entered, forcing him to make a hasty retreat.
I was in here working on it, and I had a customer come in and scared him off, so I was fortunate, I guess.
It's doubtful that he will elude police, particularly with the compelling video evidence now at their disposal. In 2013, a gentleman by the name of Phil Pauling shared a video on his YouTube channel. The video captures Phil venturing out late at night in his Mission, Oregon neighborhood. He stated that he had heard peculiar sounds emanating from the vicinity just a few minutes before, which prompted him to go outside. As he reached a nearby forest, situated approximately 200 feet from his residence, the enigmatic noises persisted, prompting him to begin recording.
January 21st, about 11 p.m. I'm a couple hundred feet from my house, and you hear it going off in the background right now. Kind of sounds weird. Kind of sounds doggish, hyena-ish. I mean, that almost sounds like laughter. It's actually gotten closer since it started. It's probably only 200 feet, 300 feet from me right now.
The recording continued for a while until the sounds of gunshots reverberated from the forest.
I think that was a gunshot.
Multiple members of the local community had reported hearing similar noises over the past 2 months leading up to this recording. However, the exact source of these noises remains shrouded in mystery. On June 1st, 2022, Yan City was rocked by a 6.1 magnitude earthquake. Numerous CCTV cameras positioned around the area documented the immediate reactions of the people. One of the most telling pieces of footage originates from a middle school, where it's evident that the students had diligently practiced their earthquake drills. As the earthquake hit, a distressed mother hastily grabbed her child and hurried towards the exit. However, she momentarily hesitated, concerned that debris might be falling on the front door. Meanwhile, in another scene, a slumbering dog abruptly awakens and dashes off when the earthquake disrupted its nap. Inside the middle school, students respond to the distressing sirens by swiftly taking cover under their desks. Once safety was assured, their teacher guided them out of the classroom. An early warning was disseminated to approximately 10 million people in the vicinity, roughly 9 seconds before the earthquake struck. This could explain the coordinated reaction of the students in the second classroom, who, upon hearing the alert over the intercom, promptly took cover under their desks in nearly perfect unison. During their journey through the authentic ghost town, The YouTuber known as the G-Team Paranormal Investigators encounters some intriguing sights within the aged historic homes. One viewer, David Armitage 2103, claims to have spotted a face in one of the windows. While another viewer, Tiffany May 3939, mentions observing figures resembling an adult and a child walking. Can you also discern these apparitions? Could this ghost town excursion have unveiled genuine spectral entities? It's challenging to ascertain based solely on this individual video. Personally, I believe that the G-Team should delve deeper into these antiquated structures. Who knows what enigmatic revelations might surface as they explore further. The significance of this video lies in its demonstration of the inherent unpredictability of even smoldering fires. On October 12, 2015, a fire broke out at Tulsa Asphalt near Tulsa, Oklahoma, causing significant concern by bringing 7 oil and fuel tanks perilously close to ignition. In response, firefighting teams endeavored to cool down the tanks with water. Initially, this operation appeared routine, but the situation took a dramatic turn when one of the tanks began to vent violently, a result of a malfunctioning pressure control valve. Shortly thereafter, an explosion occurred, blowing out one end of the tank directly in the direction of the firefighters wearing a helmet camera. This explosion posed a grave threat, potentially fatal if it had struck any person, but fortunately, the firefighter recording the incident survived, as did his fellow comrades. On September 28, 2018, a 7.5 magnitude earthquake rocked the Minahasa Peninsula, a narrow piece of land bordering the Gulf of Tomini. It generated around 150 aftershocks, unleashing a series of calamities. The initial quake unleashed 5-foot tsunami waves that pounded the coastline, followed by a colossal 18-foot wave that inundated the entire island. The scene resembled a gathering of people preparing for an event, but the earthquake struck suddenly. The CCTV camera trembled as the crowd scattered in all directions, causing loose objects to tumble from the ceilings and people to urgently seek refuge by diving under tables in sheer panic. Water flooded the surroundings, and the floor tiles visibly cracked and dislodged. Meanwhile, security cameras near the port came perilously close to detachment as the earthquake hit. They stayed intact long enough to capture a loading crane toppling over and crashing onto the pavement. Dashcam footage near the coast of Kotapalu depicted the earthquake's impact. Trees swayed back and forth as people hurried for cover, while a surge of water breached the seawall, leaving one man contemplating whether it was safe to remain in his car or attempt to drive away. According to Vox, the earthquake left thousands of buildings reduced to rubble and left behind a profound humanitarian crisis. The National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration aircraft capitalized on the opportunity to capture a chilling video of Hurricane Irma while flying through the storm. As the aircraft penetrated the most formidable hurricane ever documented in the Atlantic Ocean, it gathered crucial data about the storm's trajectory using drop sensors and assessed its intensity through radar measurements. There was a possibility that Irma might make landfall in the Caribbean. The hurricane's ferocious winds and torrential rains lashed the aircraft as it braved the heart of Irma's force. However, the clouds began to disperse, and the once obscured blue sky reappeared as the rainfall subsided. This stark transition vividly illustrated the sheer magnitude and overwhelming might of the hurricane operating at its full capacity. What's happening in this video? TikToker MQ17 Scary Video shared a chilling clip filmed in what seems to be an abandoned building. Or is it really abandoned? I'm not certain about the location, but I would certainly be stepping away too. Towards the end of the corridor, it appears as though something is still present, and you can also hear a squeaking noise on the floor. Then, there it is once more. What kind of sinister presence is this? Soon enough, the situation becomes even more unsettling. And it draws closer. Is this some kind of terrifying game of peekaboo? With so little context, it's difficult to discern what truly unfolded in this video, but I have a strong inclination that I'd rather not be a part of it. Ogof y Darren Silau stands as one of several cave systems nestled within the Lang Adog Escarpment near Crickhowell in South Wales. This cave was initially uncovered in 1957, and it ranks among the longest cave networks in the entire country. Certain segments of this cave are not intended for those with faint dispositions, featuring astonishingly narrow passageways and bearing intimate monikers like the Vice, the Armageddon, and the Death Squeeze. Only those with an intense passion for adrenaline-seeking adventures would dare to explore these depths. In April 2010, Keith Edwards and his fellow caving enthusiasts embarked on their first journey into this cave. Since that inaugural visit, they have revisited multiple times, and in the following video, you can witness one of their group members attempting to maneuver through the tight confines of the Vice. It's a daring endeavor that might not be for everyone. Would you be up for the challenge? A fire engulfed a section of this aged care facility located in Wales, and since then, it has been left abandoned and rumored to be haunted. The YouTube team known as I Conjure Paranormal decided to explore the remains of this place. While they were in one of the former patient rooms, they caught a sound of a whimper. Surprisingly, the spirit present there seemed to offer them reassurance.
So whimpering?
It's outside.
I just went to look outside because I didn't know if it was outside.
Encouraged by this interaction, they attempted to gather more information from the spirit.
Animal noise.
He won't leave.
You won't leave. He's never said stuff like this before. What did he say? You won't leave, did he say?
He won't leave.
Oh, he won't leave. Who won't leave?
It leaves me curious about what we may not fully comprehend. As they continue their investigation, Kim suddenly heard footsteps.
Any spirits of old residents? Did you hear that then? It went doom, doom, doom.
No.
Footsteps.
And soon after, they picked up a tapping sound.
Just as you moved back, it went
Did it? I'm messing this, I can't hear it. Sorry, if that... What is that?
Their exploration of the haunted care home took them through various eerie encounters. Later, as they made their way back into the corridor, they witnessed a gown on a door swaying in a rather abrupt and unsettling manner. The question arises, is this merely the result of the wind, or is there a spectral presence here, perhaps getting dressed? Even though some of the sounds they heard appear too subtle for the cameras to capture, a sense of unease pervades the atmosphere, and the electronic voice phenomena, EVPs, they recorded seem to validate this eerie sensation. This is the vehicle involved in the murder of a man in Chicago who was attempting to protect his wife during an armed robbery. Disturbingly, we have now discovered that the same car is associated with another homicide. The events that unfolded on Tuesday morning along Longdale Avenue left many residents deeply shaken. A man and a woman were ambushed by two assailants, demanding money as they walked towards their car. Now, CBS 2 can confirm that the car used in this murder is connected to a separate killing that occurred the previous day. Around 10:45 on Tuesday morning, a 48-year-old man and a 50-year-old woman were walking along North Lawndale Avenue. Surveillance footage obtained by CBS 2 reveals a white Kia Forte pulling into the alley. Two individuals disembark from the vehicle and approach the couple. We have chosen not to depict the ensuing events, as one of the men opened fire, shooting the man in the head. Shortly after, the assailants fled the scene in the same white Kia. Andrew Holmes, a community activist who provided support for families dealing with the trauma of gun violence, spoke to the victim's family.
And he shouldn't have lost his life. But you know, sometimes you just have to give them everything that they want, even though you don't want to, but you have to protect your family and your loved ones.
The white Kia, which police have determined was stolen from North Riverside earlier in the week, is now linked to another murder that occurred on October 9th along the 1600 block of 47th Street on the south side of Chicago. We had the opportunity to speak with the victim's wife, who remains unnamed. She shared with us the family's profound grief, emphasizing that the victim was not just a cherished husband, but also a loving father. While these individuals were on a hiking trail, they came across a sight that could be described as a scene from their worst nightmare.
Get up the hill!
A curious grizzly bear persistently approaches their group. As they cautiously began ascending a hill,
Slower, slower. You let me know when you think I should put a little spray that way.
one of the men took a bold step and resorted to shouting at the bear, momentarily halting its advance. It appeared that the group was contemplating the use of bear spray for protection.
Yeah. Hey, get up that hill. Get up that hill. Go on, get.
The courageous man then recognized that the bear seemed to have second thoughts and attempted to intimidate the bear to make it retreat.
Watch him. He's looking up. He's coming. He's still coming, buddy.
Get up there.
This is certainly a tale that will make for an unforgettable dinner table conversation. Hey guys, did I ever tell you about that time I was almost eaten by a bear? Work in the food industry is constantly full of surprises. Regardless of which food establishment you're employed at, there's always something interesting happening. At the onset of this video, it appears to be just an ordinary routine shift at a local Subway. Several workers are in the process of leaving, and as the clip transitions to the outside, everything seems normal there as well. That is, until one of the cars suddenly veers sharply to the left, ultimately coming to rest partially inside the building. A crowd gathered at the scene of the crash, and amidst the commotion, the manager races through the group, skillfully navigating to assist the person in the vehicle. It was undoubtedly a day filled with unexpected events, but at least the manager responded promptly. What are your thoughts on this incident? Engaging in randonautica can be a venture fraught with risks. The YouTube team known as Exploring with Brad found themselves deep in the woods during their randonautica adventure, and it appears that they were not welcome there. While pursuing their mission, they unexpectedly encountered an individual donned in black, wearing a mask.
What the hell?
As this mysterious figure walked away, they conveyed a message to the team. It turned out that the warning of next time arrived sooner than expected. Faced with this unnerving situation, they promptly decided to exit the forest.
I just don't want to stay in here anymore, Brayden. This is getting... Oh my God! Brayden, go, go, go!
It remains uncertain what the intentions of this group were or whether it could have been classified as a cult, but the prospect of staying in the woods with them seemed far too risky, given their apparent instability. An alleged victim of a kidnapping is now in a secure state, and this can be attributed to the swift actions of a hotel clerk located just outside of Las Vegas. Surveillance footage from the Railroad Pass Hotel in Henderson, Nevada, displays a visibly anxious Virginia Paris approaching the reservation desk. According to the police reports, she informed the clerk about her status as a kidnapping victim, and the clerk discreetly signaled the hotel's security team. They promptly responded and relocated Paris to a safe area. The authorities have disclosed that Paris was abducted the previous weekend by her former boyfriend, who was captured on camera as he observed the exchange at the reservation desk. He has since been taken into police custody. Responsible for elevating the careers of numerous politicians, the Skull and Bones is among the most influential secret societies in the United States. Established in 1832 within the confines of Yale University, its primary objective has always been to assist its members in obtaining positions of power. This sparked concerns, particularly among conspiracy theorists, mainly due to the society's initiation ceremony steeped in symbolism related to mortality. During this ritual, members engage in a simulated human sacrifice, although some suspect that such an act might be disturbingly real. Journalist Ron Rosenbaum covertly captured one of those ceremonies on film.
So
that's where they have the ceremonies in
the outdoor part of it. Part of it was indoors. So we only got to see the outdoor part.
Right.
We only got to, and to listen to the outdoor part. God only knows what went on indoors.
And what did you hear? What was it you know? You managed to get this unique
it was disgusting. It was gross. I mean, they were pretending to murder people.
What was the tone of it, though? Was it jokey or was it quite...
No, it wasn't jokey at all. It was sick. It's about the only thing to describe it. It was sick.
What you hear represents the first ever recording of the Skull and Bones initiation ritual, a recording that was never publicly aired before. During this ceremony, 15 new members of the club are introduced to the eerie traditions of Skull and Bones by the senior students on the brink of graduating. The club exhibits a rather peculiar preoccupation with death, skulls, and bones. Although the audio is somewhat challenging to decipher, phrases are used such as devil equals death and death equals death. This interactive book featuring Elmo is designed to assist in potty training for children. It includes several buttons, all of which are ordinary, except for one that contains a phrase so inappropriate that it garnered attention in certain regions. Supposedly, the intended phrase was, "Let's try and use the potty," but instead it appears to say something akin to "uh-oh" followed by laughter. Subsequently, it poses a disturbing question to the user. The publishers asserted that the peculiar audio result is due to issues with data compression. However, there are individuals who speculate that this explanation is merely a cover story to account for a batch of books that may have been compromised in some way, leading to their release to the general public. A tragic incident unfolded as the roof of a church in Mexico collapsed during a Sunday Mass, resulting in the loss of at least 10 lives. According to authorities in the coastal town of Ciudad Madero, approximately 100 individuals were present inside the church when the roof gave way. Among them were several children, and some were scheduled to receive baptism during the service. The collapse occurred while people were in the process of receiving Holy Communion. Reports indicate that roughly 30 individuals are believed to be trapped beneath the rubble, and around 40 other worshippers sustained injuries, necessitating their transport to hospitals. In a unified effort, rescue teams came together to meticulously search through the debris in hopes of locating survivors. Ciudad Madero is located in the state of Tamaulipas, bordering Texas. The local diocese has requested prayers for the discovery of additional survivors during this tragic event. Shifting our focus back to the United States, we find that the police in Detroit have apprehended a man on allegations of claiming to have set fire to a gas station. The video was shared on Facebook by the Detroit Police Department depicting the suspect emptying a trash can into the store. He proceeds to harass the gas station employee. You can observe him in the act. And then, astonishingly, he ignites the pile of garbage he had just placed on the ground, resulting in a highly chaotic scene. The employee was injured while escaping through the flames and received treatment for first-degree burns. The motives of the suspect remain unclear, and the situation takes an even stranger turn. Detroit police report a similar incident that took place less than a day before this one, where an individual in an SUV loaded with accelerants attempted to set fire to the vehicle but was unsuccessful. The video footage from both incidents is truly astounding. A peculiar incident unfolded as a person, humorously referred to as Yeti, found themselves unexpectedly knocked off their 1985 Simpson motorcycle by a railroad crossing arm, landing heavily on the tracks. A kind-hearted Good Samaritan promptly came to their rescue, swiftly moving Yeti and their motorcycle out of the way. Shortly after this near miss, a train arrived and came to a halt precisely at the spot where Yeti had been. This Good Samaritan turned out to be 32-year-old Dalibor Vorbanek, who had arrived at the station a couple hours earlier than his usual schedule. Normally, he would be wearing headphones and positioned at the other end of the platform. However, on this particular day, he stood at the front without any distractions. It was this change that enabled him to hear the loud impact and respond immediately. Thanks to Dalibor's quick actions, Yeti sustained only minor scrapes and bruises. In the days that followed, Yeti and Dalibor met to review the footage from the police station, gaining a first-hand look at the incident that brought them together. Surveillance footage captured a highly alarming incident wherein a 51-year-old woman entered the lobby of the Bristol Police Department in Connecticut, brandishing a firearm that appeared to be aimed at her own head. This distressing episode continued as she audibly banged on the front desk window repeatedly, clearly exhibiting agitated behavior. To the shock and consternation of all present, the woman pulled the trigger, first at the door and subsequently towards the front desk.
Brian, do not move. Do not move, Brian. Are these windows bulletproof? Shots fired. Are these windows bulletproof?
As reported by the police, it's crucial to note that the front desk and the surrounding area are fortified with bullet-resistant glass, which successfully withstood the gunfire, preventing any potential injuries or damage. The incident at the Bristol Police Department serves as a stark reminder of the unpredictability and potentially perilous situations that police and the general public may encounter, highlighting the importance of maintaining the safety and security of such establishments. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.